Ew, I need to clean my glasses. They look nasty.
You're hosting, right? What happened? Ooh. Are you good now? But yeah, you're gonna host.
Welcome on in, everybody. Welcome to Season 3 of Frank's Retirement Home. Got our first game of the season for you guys as we hop on in here. I am Ruler of Men, joined by Freaky G. How are we doing?
I'm fantastic, man. I mean, it's the beginning of the season. It's always a great time. We get to see the pace setters in the division. And I mean, picks and bans are always fun at the start. We don't really have a defined meta yet right now either. So we're going to see a lot of these comfort picks come through, which is even more fun. And as the bans go through, I mean, these kind of speak for themselves. We're sticking to what was good last season. I mean, Alquan, Athena, Cuckoo, Karen, and even the Sun Wukong coming out. So these guys are sticking to their guns on these ones.
Yeah, definitely seeing some still pretty standard things starting to get on in here. A couple of bands coming out. Might have to put a placeholder in as we currently dealing with some new things on production side, struggling up just a little bit.
Nothing we can't handle though, and it's Ganesh as the third ban or final ban in that first round as well, and that's just a ban that we see very often, and for good reason too. I mean, this god has been a powerhouse in every level of play. So we see that first.
Yeah, that last ban is on on the order side is going to be Charon. Unfortunately, we don't quite have it just yet. Still working out some bugs, but that is Charon, the boatman himself. As we start to see a couple of these picks locking in, have our Nike. Gonna see a couple more in just a second, and get on into it. What gods are you, kind of expecting to see?
I mean, like I said, a lot of the same meta picks that we've been seeing. Mainly just, I mean, we've already got the Hachiman that's come through. Sobek coming out, kind of odd. We've seen him quite a bit when Pro League was doing, when SPL or SWC, excuse me, was going on, and he kind of fell out towards the end there. But still a reliable support. He has plenty of peel, but really brings that initiation factor. What I'm really liking though right now is this Kernabog. We didn't see much of him at the end of last season in season 10, but the global pressure from him is going to be very, very good for a map that's already set up to kind of take away the idea of needing that global pressure. So you're getting more rotations without needing to use as many resources.
Yeah, definitely. This Chernobog is a exciting pick, especially because we know who it's going to. It's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to Frank Senior. He's gonna build that teleport like we all wish. Might not be the best idea, but he's gonna build it. He's got the teleporter in the lane too. He's got the ult. Gonna see a very active ADC.
And I mean, if the strat works, the strat works. Go for it, my guy. And you want to build teleport on the ADC. If it wins you the game, obviously it was the right call. So, but we're getting past these picks here. Ratatasker looks like it's gonna be the final pick, maybe.
Yep, looking like
Yep.
it. Thoth getting
And that's
banned out as well.
yeah. So two hard mage bans on both teams right now.
hmm Yeah, not looking for that super secure. Gonna get that Thoth, gonna get that Kukulkan out of there. Not gonna be
Hmm.
seeing too many just massive mage ults coming through.
Yeah,
What
we're
else
getting
are we
rid of
looking at
the
mid?
artillery.
Mm,
Mid bans.
Mid
Honestly,
bans, mid
probably.
picks. What do we got left?
I mean, as far as picks go, I mean, not none of the big ones are left on the table anymore. I wouldn't be surprised to see if maybe a Baba ends up somewhere on this chart. Most likely in the ban column if it doesn't if it gets unless it gets overlooked. There's a good chance of that. But if it
Yeah,
doesn't get overlooked and it makes it through the pick phase, I think it would be a wonderful pick for either of these compositions. You've got great setup on both of them so far with the global presence from Ratatasker. Sobek's got a massive slow on his ultimate. Nike also massive slow on his ultimate. So far, I mean, Baba looks really good right now, and she made it through the ban phase. So I would hope to see one of these teams pick this up.
yeah, definitely one of those strong options. Never necessarily meta defining. There was one or two patches where her build with prophetic was super prevalent, but
Hmm.
not the one that you're thinking, oh, I have to ban this every game. but it's strong. It has good counter dive. It still does good damage, so definitely a strong option if we see it here.
And it's a very hard god to lock down, and there's a lot of lockdown on both of these teams right now. So it would be an excellent option for the mid. But the Merlin selection also is not a bad pickup in my opinion. That gives this excuse me. This gives the kitchen. Excuse me, I was having a lapse
Yep.
there. This
Yep.
gives the
Baba's
kitchen
Kitchen.
a bit more burn in their arsenal for these objectives now. But the problem we're seeing right now is that there's not any hard secure, which can come to bite you if you're not carrying the lead, so to say. But it also takes away from your steal potential. But like I said, the burn is there, and Hachiman just is it's such a phenomenal ADC right now. I would consider him to be the quote unquote staple ADC in the meta right now. He's just his passive is a stem. He's got a stem on his 2 as well. Great auto attack damage. This team so far is very objective burn heavy. But what that also means is the kitchen is really gonna have to try to uh, control a lead somewhere in the mid game in order to secure these objectives.
Yeah, definitely going to be tough to take those objectives like you're talking about. Have good shred damage. You have Flurry from Rat. You have the banner from Hachi buffing everybody's attack speed. Merlin notorious for burning those down, but no real secure on the map. The best secure is probably the Hunbottle. Dropping that, making sure nobody else can hit it, and hitting it with something else at the same time. So definitely going to be precocious around these objectives. Gonna have to see a lot of planning before you're looking to do it. Maybe just a big team fight instead of looking to just out secure.
For sure. And Baba's Kitchen taking their time right now with the final pick here. We'll see what they come up with, and it looks like they're going to lock in the Osiris as their last pick, and that confirms their solo lane. That's going over to Baba too. And looking at the solo lane matchup right now, it's Nike v Baba. Now solo lane's kind of the lane that seems to be dominating in the current patch. I personally feel like Nike has a very good matchup into Osiris. What do you think, though?
I think it's really 50-50. I mean, Osiris has that really strong early game. He's got a little bit more sustain. There are definitely ways to play into it from both sides of the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's necessarily a wash either way. Nike's good at canceling out auto attacks. You have the disarm, you have the shield, but Osiris clear is just incredible.
Yeah,
Overall, which one of these teams are you favoring?
I would have to say at the moment, Death Dealer's team is actually kind of looking strong for the all stages of the game. Humbots has a phenomenal ultimate. You've got Gebolt to help with these relics that are going to get burned off of Humbot's ult or vice versa. Nike also brings a very strong dive and has the ability to fall back and peel if necessary. And you've already got a really good peeling god out of Geb. I mean, Geb Shield is one of the best peeling abilities in the game. And toss on that infinite global pressure, unlike Ratatasker, who is limited to how far his semi-global is. And there's better secure on the side of Death Dealers with the Hera ultimate. It's not the best option for secure, but looking at the team, or looking at the lineup, Merlin v Hera, I think Hera has a better chance of securing an objective with Argus than Merlin does just by tossing an ability and praying that it gets that last dot in time.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Having a little bit more presence in the team fight. They have those 3 big ultimates like you're talking about. You have the Cataclysm, you have the Fear No Evil, you have the Sentinel of Zeus. Whereas, I'm kind of leaning a little bit towards the kitchen. They have a lot of ability to grab that pick. Sobek,
Mm-hmm.
Ratatosker, Osiris. They're just looking to get in there and grab their kill. So if they're able to kind of single people out, I think that they have a really good shot at bringing this home. Only time will tell. Going to take a short intermission while we wait for game number 1 to start. welcome back everybody. Got game one starting off nice and quick here. Anything you see that catches your eye looking at these builds?
Yeah, first and foremost, the starters are interesting over here on the supports. Almost feels like you need to switch them around, but they're both perfectly fine options in the roles that they're in. No crazy starts here either, so we're not gonna see any crazy invades or anything. How unfortunate, right? But
No
either
immediate
way,
action.
yeah. But it's the first game of the season. Play a little safe. Don't want to get too crazy. Geb's
I
walking into lane pretty poked out right now.
I just looked down and Sobek used his shard and horrific before minions spawned.
The shard maybe makes some sense, but the horrific on the other hand, I'm calling a misclick there. That was definitely.
I'm so sure it's a misclick. Geb's in a lot of trouble here. Great stun comes out from the Hachi. One auto will do it. CG Paradox takes the first kill of the season. Let's go.
And a fantastic job from both of those guys in the lane right there. They saw the opportunity and said, Geb doesn't have his shield. We can just kind of wear him out here. And didn't even need the horrific that we were talking about him misclicking. So a great job and a great first blood. And not only that, they gave it to the right guy. Paradox is going to walk away with that first blood. Great start for the duo.
Yeah, grabs his bounty, and not gonna lie, I kind of expected the lane to go like that. Sobek and Hachi just have so much more early pressure and early clear compared to, Geb Chernobog. Stepping up is going to be tough. Chernobog taking a ton of damage. Horrific comes out. Will it be the second kill of the game? Auto not quite on the mark. Ooh, doesn't have the extendo auto to get the kill. Frank going to just barely survive with his life, but forced away from that wave, he's going to lose out on a ton of farm.
Talking about the pressure and how we knew this duo lane was going to have that kind of pressure attached to it, Rory is doing a fantastic job of utilizing that pressure as well. Paradox is following up in almost perfect scenario, but I got to give props to Darth Dumbledore there. The body blocks were key to Frank's survival, and that keeps that lane from going down too, instead of just the first blood.
Yeah, definitely good body blocks coming out. A lot of pressure in that mid lane too. Just on the other side, Ginkgo and Ral kind of pushing them under tower, not letting them do really anything they want in that mid lane.
So I want to ask you something here while we were hovering over solo lane. I noticed in the relic choice here, not relic. Is it I don't know. Shard choice. The shard choice here. So Osiris, I totally get the I don't remember what they're calling that one. Is it Vibrant?
Shard.
Golden shard. Thank you.
The red one that Hanbok has is Vibrant. Yeah.
That's right. So anyways, the golden shard here option for Osiris makes a lot of sense. But on Nike, cleave autos, yeah, I get it. But wouldn't you think maybe a horn shard would be a better option? I'm curious what you think.
I would be looking at that horn shard. You have good auto attacks with the cleaves, but it's just not your main source of damage. You're looking for those abilities. Ral, please.
Ooh.
Please.
Ral looked like he was testing his fate with the minions there, but he's just fine. He is calculated. That's what that is. That was a very calculated moment from Ral.
I really thought him and that archer were gonna trade. I was really excited for the first PvE death of the season.
On game one of their first game of the season, no less.
Game 1, pre-minute 5, just get right on into the action. Not going to be the case, thankfully. Minions not going to be getting their kill death started quite yet.
So now we were just talking about it, and I'm going to actually ask again because I'm noticing it. We're seeing Wing Shard coming out for the Hachiman, whereas we'll come back to that in a second.
No, nothing's really happening here.
No.
Horrific is
Sobek
used, but Sobek with no mana might actually be able to turn this. Ooh, not Cataclysm. Knock up not quite on the mark. Frank is going to pick up that kill, get himself up to 1-0. Will he land back down and take this fight with Hachi? It looks like he will. That buff is pretty big. Ultimate used from the Hachi. Not going to be able to grab a kill. Autos are coming out. Low health bars on both sides, but looks like not going to be able to challenge Paradox as much as they might like to with their numbers advantage.
Very good job from Frank there. And probably I had to have called out to Dumbledore after the pluck. Hey, he is out of mana. We need to turn on this. And that's exactly what they do. They just turn around, use the Cataclysm there to set up an amazing ult. Tried to use the Frank tried to use the ult there to kind of reset the fight and look for another kill onto Paradox. Paradox, pretty wise to that situation, keeps himself out of trouble. So nothing more than just a single kill there, but definitely one they needed. PV finds a kill in the mid lane on Ral though.
Yeah, unfortunately, Sobek dies and
Ooh.
rotates to mid, and we see a tower dive coming out, taking this Hera off the map. Hunbot's a little bit of a tricky spot. Has a couple minions to help him, get out of danger just a little bit. Not gonna be able to get any vengeance for his mid laning.
I wasn't sure if he had his jump up there or not when he got plucked. But luckily he did. So stays alive. Oh, how unfortunate.
Minions OP.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel for Rory as a support main. I have had that happen to me multiple times. It is not a good feeling. So now that it's died down a little bit, I can go back to what I was saying. It's Wing Shard is the pickup here for Paradox. Frank opts for the new Golden Shard. For me, I feel like Golden Shard almost kind of has to be the option in this lane. It just seems like it helps with the clear overall. Why is Hachi the carry who has less ability clear potential not going for the Golden Shard and picking the Wing Shard over it?
So I've heard a couple of different options from different ADCs that I play with, and Wing Shard gives you a little bit more option for a fight. You have that extra attack speed when you need it. You have the ability to chase somebody down. Whereas you have that Golden Shard, you're just kind of chilling, you're farming, you're not looking for as much of a fight as you are with that Wing Shard.
Keeping the game alive. I don't know about you, but I've noticed that this game is very slow. Dual lane seems to be the only action. We're not even seeing the jungles really get involved.
Yeah, saw him grab that one kill in mid off of a 3-man tower dive at 3 minutes. Never feels good. Both ults expended in the solo lane. Lone Wolf going to take the better side of it. Thankfully, Chef Baba has his TP coming up. Not going to be missing any farm. So we see a meteor fall in. I love the meteors. What are your thoughts on it? I love Scepter. I love meteors.
Oh, well, Scepter coming back for me was so great because as a support player, Scepter feels really good. Oh, I can go clear a camp on my own for once. Thank goodness. Let me go do that real quick, guys. I'll be right back. And then you wish you still had your jungle over there because it takes you a little bit longer than everyone else still. But either way, no, I love these meteors. They're a great little nuanced mechanic that they added. And I kind of hope they stick around for the entire season.
Yeah, definitely. That used to be one of my favorite parts about playing support. Back in the original meta. Unfortunately, Fear the Evil used on the dash. Ratatoskr going to be able to get up in the air before anybody's able to get to him. Living Nightmare going to go right where he was taken off from. Unfortunately, not able to grab that pick onto PV.
Wow.
Gets out of jail. Just a little unfortunate.
And I mean, aside from the Gebalt being used in mid, that's a lot of resources being burned for Death Dealers just for Ratatoskr to ult out there. It sets up a position for Baba's Kitchen to maybe look for an actual engage now. I would like to see something happen in this mid lane now that the 3v3 is really getting going here. No ult on the Ratatoskr or the Hunbots for at least another 40 to 50 seconds. That's a good time to maybe make something happen here. It looks like, again, we're just going to stay content to farm, and the duo lane is going to be where all the action is. Kernabog able to steal that away too. Frank trying to reapply some of that pressure he lost in the early.
Yeah, certainly a little bit down, but certainly not out of it. He's just, holding his own, making sure he's clearing those waves. Doesn't have to take the fight. You gotta throw a couple autos though.
Oh yeah.
Speaking you're scared. Of not taking the fight. Incredibly low under tower. There it is. Ratatoskr picks that one up. Second kill of the game for PV. Hunbot's in a little bit of a tough spot here. No. Has the ult, but not going to be ult. It is going to be enough to get him out. Very close there with the Osiris. Paradox taking a solo kill over there off the back of that mounted archery. Expends the ultimate, grabs himself a kill, and that's going to cement his lead.
And I was just talking about how Frank was doing a good job of gathering some of that pressure back, and then the unfortunate solo kill comes out over here in the duo lane. That's a feels bad, man. It's gonna take a lot more than just stealing away a gold buff now in order to bring this back.
Yeah, definitely going to take, the Hachimon losing out on a couple waves, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
get a couple ganks. You don't even have to kill people on ganks. That's the biggest thing I think of. If you get a guy low enough to back and he misses a wave,
Oh yeah,
he might as well have died.
small wins we call that. That's small wins. Always take the small wins if you can. But no, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Um, we really need to see these jungles get more active, and I mean, PV is in the driver's seat as far as I'm concerned. Both are level 12, but PV is the one taking the initiative. He's actually ganking. He's helping his laners get securing the contestable jungle farm for his team. And I mean, I think itemization at the moment really speaks for itself whenever you look at the jungles. Yeah, they're the same level, same XP almost. But there's the net worth chart right there for everybody. And actually, Ginkgo just topped over him. So I guess everything I said is irrelevant.
Yeah, it's even. The problem with Rat early game is that Acorn is the best power spike in the game. There's
True.
no better item than finishing that Acorn on any god, so definitely makes sense for him to be a little bit stronger in this early game. Hunbots, always kind of struggles in the early game. People aren't grouped up to kind of help
Oh.
deal that damage after you drop that Fear No Evil, so within time, I'm sure, he's going to get into these team fights, going to see a couple people and be able to just dish out a ton of damage off the end of it. Interesting to see here. Chef Baba up 2 levels. I mean, it didn't look that bad. I mean, Lone Wolf did die to that one gank, but like it seems like he's been in the driver's seat so much.
I feel exactly the same as we see a lot of poke getting thrown onto Ginkgo. Might look for an engage here. Looks like they're going to be able to walk him out. Oh, the Pelk on the Hera, though.
Yeah, Cataclysm forced out. Fear No Evil going to be dropped there. Great, getting 3 people feared. Hunbot's in a little bit of danger though. Argus chasing down. Chef Baba's going to pick that one up. Jungle and mid down for the Death Dealers. Looks like the support might be to follow. That is 3 down, and it looks like this might be a Gold Fury call. Lone Wolf might have something to say about it, though. Looking for this Ratatosker. Stun out on the Rend, and he is going to fall. 4 people down. Frank is the only one standing, and that is a Gold Fury for Baba's Kitchen.
Yeah, and that's a really... I would say the first engagement, unfortunate circumstance, you got caught out in the jungle when the beacon was up, tried to make a fight happen, and Raw gets plucked. Now everyone's got to go in to save your life. That's just the life of having some precarious positioning right there. But Lone Wolf almost gets a turnaround kill on PV. Would have been a great, not exactly a shutdown, but it would have been a little gold in his pocket on a character that has a lead over him, and a revenge kill. So there would have been a bounty for that. But doesn't find it, gets CC chained at some point and falls. So you just gave Baba's a 4 kill, an 8 kill lead now because they were at 4, and also handed him over the early Gold Fury. Not a good position to be in for Death Dealers, and this is going to be a lot of crawling for them to get back in it.
Yeah, definitely tough spot to be in. You're 14 minutes in, you're about 3,000 down. Certainly still, salvageable for sure. What do you think Death Dealers needs to focus on to kind of get back to an even state?
Maintain your farm, continue to get your back camps, especially as your jungle, and really just find the lane that you're not losing the hardest in and just gas pedal it. Do what you can to make that character stay relevant, because whoever's got the least difference in lane is going to be your saving grace. And unfortunately, there's not very many options for Death Dealers. But I would say Frank is probably your anchor point for that type of strategy. He's only died 1 time. He's still maintaining good presence. His T1's still up, so he's got something to fall back to. And this Hachimon is 4-0. This is a character that you need to get a shutdown on. It will save the game for you.
Yeah, definitely could see some pressure coming out in this duo lane being pretty productive. Fortunately, though, Paradox is keeping that gas pedal on. He's keeping that aggression up, making sure that Frank can't just step up and clear the wave.
Looks like
So,
Frank doesn't care. Oh, was
ooh,
that a
no, both
dash?
junglers here. Ratatosker ult comes out, finds the stun onto Hunbots. Mounted archery is used, but it is not quite enough. Ooh,
Oh no.
unfortunately, Frank not expecting those autos to reach. Enhanced autos going to take him out. Fear no
Oh,
evil, going to get the revenge kill with the minions. Thank you. Thank you,
fantastic.
minions.
What'd you say earlier? Minions OP?
Minions are pretty strong. Minions are
Minions
pretty
OP.
strong.
Yeah. No, but I mean that's a great play, and that was a great block from him. Cancels the rollout too. Just gonna get a little bit more damage onto Darth Dumbledore. But no, that dual lane play. I saw Paradox dash, and I was like, surely we see him go down here, but he didn't, unfortunately. And PV just made the counter rotation perfectly in time. It was like, I already know that you're going over there, so let me just go ahead and help my ADC either get another kill or at the very least stay alive. We've got both the tanks over here in solo lane right now, as well as the Merlin.
Yeah, a lot of members over here in the solo lane looking to knock down this Nike Sentinel of Zeus. Going to be expended there, going to knock down that shield. Hachiman is here as well, not content with getting his own tier 1 tower. Says, you know what? There's another one. We can knock down this solo and maybe look at a Pyromancer.
We
He
got to
he
keep
has
this
that
up.
lead to play with, and I'm glad that they're thinking about utilizing it with that rotation.
Yeah, I don't like that Lone Wolf is still in this T1. He needs to give it up. His team's not coming over to help, and there's no reason for them to. They need to confirm their own farm. But he's going to try and fight a 3v1, it looks like. I say fight. It wasn't much of a fight.
Yeah, great ult from Chef Baba, lands the stun, going to knock him down. And that's just unlucky, There's just 4 people in your lane. There's not much you can do about that. Going
This
to
is
go ahead, fall down there, and a good Pyromancer. Will be contested though. Hera is here. Argus is dropped. Unfortunately, not able to steal Baba's Kitchen, secure it. And Hera might be in a little bit of trouble here. Lurking in the waters is this Sobek, looking for a little bit of something. Ult is on the mark. A lot of damage comes out. No pluck to follow up though. Hera's going to make it into that tower safe. Sobek's gonna, say that tower kind of hurts. Great play
there
from the
we
Death
go.
Dealers here.
And
Says, everybody's at Pyro? Boom, gold field.
And I was just gonna point that out until that fight started, that they were rotating over and grabbing that Oni Fury while that pyro was going on. Whoever's shot calling for Death Dealers right now has good map awareness, great presence of mind to make that call, and they juggled it perfectly so nobody dies trying to take down the Oni Fury with that lack of tank to be there. The contesting on Pyromancer, not the greatest decision in my mind, but nobody died, and you were able to get a couple ultimates out of it. So I think that was a good play all around for Death Dealers and a way to get back in this game.
Yeah.
Unless
Geb here in a lot of trouble. Unfortunately, steps up a little bit too much
Ooh.
by himself. 3 members are able to just knock him down with CC, and that's just an unfortunate place to be. You're Geb. You have to be careful.
Yeah.
You just have to be careful.
It was like I just said, horrific, man. It just that's that relic that you get hit with and you go, son of a. But it's just terrible.
It's a tough one to play with. Not only that, I want to say he has Divine Barrier too, so he has 2 slows. So
and because that's what you need is a Sobek is more slows. But I mean, going back to it too, Rory again we saw him doing it in the early game. Great job of applying the pressure with the character. I don't think he's missed but maybe 2 plucks this entire game. And that's saying a lot because I've seen him throw a lot of plucks. Now off screen, don't know what's going on. I guess he's not hitting them if he's throwing them because we're not, snapping over to that side of the map. There we go. I just caster curse, my boy.
There's one. Ratatosker under the tower. Looks like Hera's in a little bit of trouble. Fear no evil, not quite on the mark as much as we might like it. Hachi comes in, mounted archery is going to knock down Ral. Looks like we're still surging forward towards this tower. Full health Chernobog might be enough to dissuade them though. Got the Geb, got the Cherno, gets the beads out unfortunately, and looks like not going to be able to push for that tier 2, but you get your pick, you get your tier 1, you're feeling pretty good.
You ever see the relic usage? It just makes you go, oh. Yeah, that was that beads. But unfortunately, I mean, maybe some follow-up there he would have been worried about. You never know what's going through a player's mind. Like Lone Wolf right now, who knows he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. No, no friendly people in his vicinity. Hunbot just has to say, "Oh, you're dead over there. I'm gonna go get some farm. Sorry." And yeah, how are we feeling about builds as we start to get towards this game? You know, got a couple items built.
So
What are we liking?
far,
What are we not liking?
I don't really see anything I don't like. XC's a little late in Frank's build, in my opinion, but you know, better late than never. That's how you got to look at that. I do really like Rory's build right now. Got the cooldown, got a little bit of self cooldown. He's at 20% right now, as well as that relic cooldown. If you're gonna run a relic like Horrific, you definitely need it to be off cooldown as often as possible. I think that actually knocks that relic cooldown time to like 60. It's 110 seconds and subtract 50. So yeah, it's just about 60 seconds. Yeah, which is great. That means every 60 seconds you get an additional slow in your kit. Which for the way he's playing, that is perfect. Really spread out though as the Death Dealers. Humbot's way up while the rest of the team is chasing.
Yeah. Humbot nearly gets the solo kill on Merlin. Unfortunately, backup arrives. Ratatasker on him. Hera looks like they're going to fall. Chef Baba picks that one up, steals it from Rory. Rory, unfortunately, going to take too many tower shots, going to fall there. Chef Baba picks up Ginkgo. 2 for 1 here. Geb falls down to PV. Frank looking for something, but I don't think he's going to be able to find something. Hachi is here. Minions are towards this tower line. They could look for a dive at any second. Nike looking for a little bit of action. Not able to catch the Ratatosker in the ult, so not going to be grabbing that kill. And just Death Dealers kind of just can't take these fights right now. They're a little bit too far behind. They're a little bit too uncoordinated. What do they need to clean up to be able to get back in this game?
Well, one thing I've noticed is that we're not really grouping yet on Death Dealer's side. And that, you know, at this stage of the game, we're 20 minutes in. We got to group up. These objectives start to matter. As Baba's actually going to have to be careful here. Nike on chase.
Might have had that backwards. Lone Wolf might have to be careful in enemy territory, surrounded on all sides. Mannered Archery comes out looking to steal that kill. PV takes it, however, and just unlucky. Lone, he's 3 levels down. He can't catch a break. Gets Osiris to 1 HP twice and just can't quite finish him out.
I was holding out hope for my boy. You know, he looked like he had something going there. I was really expecting him to make something happen, but Lone Wolf, too low level, not tanky enough. And it just kind of all fell apart for him right after it started. But no, I mean, that's actually kind of going to help me out with the next thing I was going to say, though, is that we got to stop doing stuff like that. These objectives are not worth trying to steal anymore if it's just going to end up sacrificing 2 or 3 people in your team. Plus, if we're looking at the builds right now, if we're looking down at the items, Ral is not done stacking yet. He went for that Chronos Pendant start into Book, and he has not finished stacking his Book yet. So while he has the cooldown, he does not have the damage to make use of that cooldown. And when you're mids in that kind of scenario, you really got to pick and choose your battles. And Baba's Kitchen is just not letting them pick and choose battles. They are forced to take fights or retreat. They're not in a position to make decisions.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at about a 7,500 lead. Osiris just content to fight 3 people at a time, not even worried about it, still going to keep gunning for this Hera, making sure nobody's, you know, looking to knock down and steal that FG. Forced to ult out, Death Dealers march inward, looking for a little bit of something. Fear No Evil comes out, Merlin low, Hachi low. Could this be what Death Dealers needed? Ginkgo, unfortunately, not able to grab any of those last hits. So many low health bars, but Baba's Kitchen remains on top. They pick up 2, looking to steal, looking to get those kills, and this is just an unfortunate place to be Death Dealers.
Oh, a little bit of split pushing going on, though, that we didn't see on screen. Kernabug making the ultimate over to try and help his team get out, even get his own little fast getaway. Like you said, they lost the mid and jungle, but and unable to steal away the fire giant, which was surprising to me. I think it was actually Rory's ultimate that confirmed that confirm that fire giant. So good job from Rory. But otherwise, it's looking more and more bleak. But that split push scenario right there may have just bought them enough time. If they are able to defend the left side of the map whenever they go for the push with this fire giant, it will all be worth it.
Yeah, definitely going to put a little bit of a slow at the very least to Baba's Kitchen, you know. You have to say, ah, man, really? Frank did it again.
I mean,
It's just tough. Yeah, that's
yeah,
the Chernobog problem. You have
we
to be able to defend that,
we both play the
or just
game.
take
You
or just
know,
take
we
the fire.
we both play the game. We've been there. You ever just you're over there, you're making good plays. Your team's got a huge lead, or at least a significant one, and then you look over on the map when you're in the middle of a major objective, and you just go, "Are you serious?" That's that moment right there. That split pushing, especially when it's a Chernobog, and it's just like, well, I can't go over there and stop him because he's just going to ult over to my team. Very unfortunate, but it doesn't seem like it's deterred Baba's Kitchen at all. They're going to actually probably look at this Phoenix rather than split push or taking down the rest of the tier 2s. They surely see Hera on the right side of the map. This is an opportunity for them.
Yeah, definitely a good opportunity if they're able to recognize it. Not going to be pushing as far forward as you might think. Taking their time, waiting for the wave to come up. It's not EFG, you know, it's not going to remove all those backdoor protections, just some of them. Good start from the fight, though. Baba's Kitchen throws out a lot of damage. A lot of ults already used by the Death Dealers. No Fear, no Evil, no Cataclysm left. Through the Cosmos comes through. PV grabs one. Frank able to get a return kill on the support. Chernobog incredibly low, going to be falling down to Chef Baba. That is 3 down, and they are marching onto this Titan. 2 to defend. Hera and Nike, will they be able to do it? Argus dropped, going to pick up Paradox, and that should stop the momentum of Baba's Kitchen.
I'm really surprised that they go for the end call there, by the way. 2 tier 2 towers are still up. I know you kill 3 people in that fight, but it doesn't necessarily stop the damage from coming through, especially when you know a Hera is coming back, got all that free farm. I mean, she's level 19 now, and Book is finally stacked, sitting on 40% CDR. That's a scary thing to have to fight against under Titan. Nike is low.
Nike is low. Minions are going to unfortunately finish it off. Ral's going to pick himself up. Another kill. Ratatosker looking for a little bit of something. Through the wall, it's going to land, but not kill. And Chef Baba is here to make sure that this will not be able to chase. Hera going to try their best to get out. A little bit of move speed comes out from that shield. However, the slows are here, and Hera is probably not long for this world. No, Geb is there. Just in time, gets the shield, going to be able to walk out.
I was watching the map there too whenever Osiris popped up and saw Darth standing next to the speed buff, left side speed buff, and wondering hopefully if he would make the move to go help his mid laner. He did. A little bit slow in my opinion, but he made the move. Primal Fury is going to be the next call here for Baba's Kitchen, and I just gotta say, you know, that it's kind of more of a misplay on Baba's Kitchen. Like I said, and I analyzed that whole fight. It's a misplay on Baba's Kitchen, but it's really also a great job from Death Dealers. They did a little bit. I think they predicted that they were already going to lose that Phoenix because Divine Barrier's slowing them down. Horrific's going to come into play on the tanks. You're likely not going to get out of that siege without losing somebody. So I think the macro call for Raw to get free farm and split push that right lane was actually a really good call. And then it turns into an even better call when Baba's Kitchen make the unfortunate play of overstepping their boundaries, trying to finish off the Titan when they had no reason to.
Yeah, definitely hard to knock that Titan down with tier 2 towers. I mean, if Hera doesn't come back in time, definitely a chance it could happen. I mean, Merlin, Hachi, Ratatosker, that's some incredible shred.
Yeah.
To be able to tear through that, just not able to get it done. Yet again, we see Frank pushing up that left lane. He doesn't care if you have his Phoenix down, he's going to take yours. Yeah. What are you going to do about it? He's Chernobog. You going to send Chef Baba back? He doesn't have TP up. That doesn't work.
I think regardless of the outcome of this game, that's probably going to be taken away from him. Nike's going to start off this fight getting plucked, though.
Yeah, a lot of damage on these frontliners. Nike half health, Geb missing about a quarter. Not a good start for Death Dealers. They can't really afford to be this poked out at the start of this fight. going to be EFG in about 20 seconds, so not
Oh,
what
the
you
ultimate.
want. Yeah,
I thought that
Jet
was going to
Baba
start
pulled
something.
away, but not going to be able to get too much done with this numbers advantage. Sobek
Wow.
lurking in the waters, however, through the Cosmos is coming. It'll knock up 2. Fear no evil, great peel from Ginkgo. You don't have to be a
Holy
support to
Akbar.
peel. Looking for a little bit more. Hachi, 1 HP. Osiris still diving though, still looking for something. Will he be able to pick anything up? Looks like Ginkgo is going to fall. No, Keb Shield is just in time. He's going to get himself out of there. Death Dealers might not pick up any kills, but they're holding their own in this fight.
There is nothing else to say about that fight for
Lone Wolf
Baba's
leaves.
Kitchen.
Lone
Oh
Wolf leaves.
no.
It's not
Please.
worth it. It's a
It's
tier 2
not.
tower.
It might be actually. Hold
it's
on.
worth it.
Lone Wolf with the distraction. Let's see. We got a game going on here now, Ruler. I mean, we were both on the same side. Why are you still there? What are you doing, my man? And it turned into a, hey, we just killed Baba here. Look at that. Great job from Death Dealers and mainly Lone Wolf for just saying, guys, I'm keeping him here. Come on, help me out. And
yeah,
you know,
just
going.
unfortunate. You know, you look at that tower. That tower's 1 HP.
Oh
but
yeah.
they didn't have Paradox because he got poked out so hard in that fight, so they're not able to knock it down, take too much damage from it, and it's just unlucky.
And
Still though, a minor setback. Baba's Kitchen still commanding lead.
well, I'll point out here because I was going to until Lone Wolf made that fantastic play. That fight at Fire Giant is a phenomenal fight for Baba's Kitchen, except for they didn't hit any of their abilities. That is the only thing that makes that fight go south, is the fact that none of Baba's Kitchen hit abilities on priority targets. We saw it first when PV goes for the rat ult, doesn't have the range, lands on the wrong target, tries to get a stun off on someone in front of him, misses the Acorn Blast. It is a very unfortunate scenario, just like how Lone Wolf, once again, too far with no help.
Yeah, a couple of unfortunate, misses there, a little bit of an overstep. Still though, Baba's Kitchen in a good position.
Mm-hmm.
Death Dealers though catching up, starting to hit those level 20s.
Ooh,
Already have 2 upgraded starters, starting to get those builds filled out. The gold doesn't matter after a point.
Look at this though. Lone Wolf just back. He's got his TP up. He'll be back very quickly, but they should notice by now Hachi's over on the left side of the map. This is a 4v5, and the Death Dealers are caught up at this point. They actually could take this fight. Looks like they don't realize it just yet. Or maybe they do.
Merlin in an awful position, gets polymorphed. Will it be the end? Alternate timeline popped. Sobek also incredibly low. Merlin forced to Aegis away from Argus, but it is not going to matter. He is taken off the map. Not a big deal. The first one to fall. PV looking for a little bit of something through this Cosmos, but going to have to back off, and Death Dealers take what is their first win in a fight. They're going to knock down that one person. They're going to get that pick even from 10,000 behind, and they're going to pick up this Fire Giant.
That is a massive.
Is lurking, but there's no great secure from either of these teams.
Comes.
Best secure is Sobek dropping bombs on it, but he's not going to be able to make his way there. Rat looking for a little bit of something, going to get polymorphed out of it. Death Dealers pick up the enhanced Fire Giant. They're also going to knock down PV. That's 2 picks right now. That left bird almost goes down. Rory is going to have to take care of that, and right now this went from a bad, tough game, you're 10,000 down, to Death Dealers are, map state wise ahead right now.
Okay. I was wondering if he maybe realized there was another fire wave coming up the lane, and he did. he did.
There were melees on the Phoenix. That thing had to have been like single-digit health.
Oh yeah, sitting somewhere around 10 or less, absolutely. But I 100% agree. I think me and you both can agree, probably about the 20-minute point, we were kind of writing this one off as a Baba's Kitchen game 1, weren't we? I would say we were.
Nah, I've seen too many Walker games
That's
to know
fair.
that.
That's fair.
They're all 45 minutes. It eventually just evens out, and all of a sudden it comes down to 1 or 2 good fights. So kind of where we end up right now. That
we were still probably
5v5.
both leaning, right? I would say we were both at least leaning towards Baba's Kitchen, but we'll get back to that.
Osiris ult forced. Nike still on the chase. Horrific pop getting him slowed down. Argus putting in some good work. Polymorph going to hit the Hachi, take a little bit of his health bar away. Sobek misses the pluck, but not going to take too much punishment for it. Nobody really in position to grab too much off of that. This Phoenix is incredibly low. 1 or 2 autos from Frank will take it out. Divine Barrier also used by the Sobek, but you know, it's going to disappear and then it's going to be instantly usable again, pretty much, with his cooldown. Nike plucked in, not going to be able to get too much away with that, as we see these Oni waves starting to pour in, and that's what Death Dealers are looking for. They're saying, all right, let's get those in. Frank, you go knock down this mid tower. Let's look for a little bit more.
This is a great macro play once again from Death Dealers. They know that the Titan is probably not what they're going to be looking for. Ultimate comes out from Hunzbots, though.
Yeah, Beads forced off the rat as well as his ultimate, going to keep him from doing quite what he wants there. Lone Wolf getting plucked in, but not going to be too much of a big deal, is the solo laner. The left Phoenix falls. Frank is still pushing in mid. Argus is getting in there. Hunbot's a little bit low, but Sobek ulting in, looking for a little bit more. Will he be able to get it done? Ginkgo low, but not quite out just yet. Looking like this still could be a Death Dealer's victory. Nobody quite falling yet. Lone putting a lot of pressure into the back line, looking to, you know, keep the back line distracted while they take care of the front line. Rory is going to fall. Frank is going to fall. Chef Baba falls as well. Death Dealers are surging forward. Hachiman beats Aegis forced. Will he be able to get out? Lone Wolf grabs the dash, takes it away, and it is 2 versus 4 on this end. Hunbot's going to have to back to get a little bit of that health back. Not feeling too healthy, and come on, Death Dealers, you don't got to make the same mistake. Yeah, there we go. Look at that mid bird. Grab that wave.
No.
Ooh, Hera left alone. PV going to pick up that kill. Not able to drop the Argus quite in time, and still a great position. Death Dealers close a 10,000 gap into a 3,000 gap. This game is right back even.
And I gotta say, that even with the way that it turned out, I think Death Dealers played that siege very well. They got the Phoenix that they were looking for. Little bit of a mistake, and shout out to Chef Baba for getting that kill on Frank and slowing down the dive. Frank had to pay attention to him, and the chainsaw that is Osiris wore him out until finally they got the ADC down. Didn't really make a difference in the siege, but it kept them from going for the next objective, which is what was really important there, and that would be the mid Phoenix. Ultimately, they still come out at a very huge net loss. You lost both your tier 2 towers. You lost your left Phoenix for the 3rd time in this game, I'm going to say. And it's probably going to happen all over again. I mean, Frank's back up. Rawl's back up. Fire Giant's spawning in 30 seconds. I mean, it's like you were saying earlier. This is going to probably come down to one more big fight, and the winner of that fight is going to be the winner of this game. And they're already looking for something. Ultimate from Sobek is down.
Yep, going to force out that lurking in the waters, going to give that Sobek a lot less safety. And right now, I think Death Dealers are in a good position for this FG fight. They have those fire minions pushing on left. They have the better team comp for these fights with that Fear No Evil, with that Cataclysm, with that Sentinel of Zeus. They have the tools required. How is this fight going to fare? Who is going to be taking this EFG home?
We got to see a pluck from Sobek, and it can't be on Nike anymore. She's just too tanky. She's got that prophetic cloak stack. She finally got some magic defense online. Lone Wolf is nigh unkillable at this point, and it's going to take more than a Sobek pluck setup to keep him, or to put him back down. And I never got a chance to say it on desk, but this is kind of what this Death Dealers comp has that I liked about it. Whenever you were asking me, who do I give this to? Who has a better comp? It's definitely Death Dealers, and it's right here, the late game potential that they're giving.
Relics forced off of CG Paradox. Not a great start to his fight. Nike going to take quite a bit of damage even through that Sentinel of Zeus. Frank is incredibly low. CG Paradox going to pick that one up. PV with a great dive. Unfortunately loses a lot of his health bar, but stops any sort of aggression that Death Dealers might have with those low health bars now. Great pluck onto Ginkgo, going to take him out of the game. Not quite.
Wow.
Gen Shield keeps him alive long enough for him to trade. However, still ripping forward are Baba's Kitchen. Looking for a little bit of something. CG Paradox going to grab his second kill of this fight. Darth Dumbledore incredibly low. Ral still looking for a little bit of something, but with Sobek there, I don't think he's going to have too much peace. Ooh, good pluck going to hit him. Argus still looking for blood, going to pick up Rory, also going to pick up Paradox. He is still running forward. Will he be able to take out this Osiris? This Osiris doesn't have the magical procs required. That is 3 kills for Ral here. All of a sudden, Death Dealers, when all hope is lost, Ral is here. He is not ready to give this up, and he is doing a great job. This Merlin is in danger. Look at how hard Argus is. What is that? This guy's been chasing people for 30 minutes. Ooh, polymorph off the mark, but it's not going to matter. The fists clap, and that is a deicide for the Death Dealers. That was exciting.
There is no amount of knowledge, skill, or experience that can allow me to break that down, by the way, except for one way. Great individual play from Ral right there. That is the hero that turned around a team fight gone bad for the Death Dealers. And I don't know how he was able to do it. I really don't. They kind of just lined up for him, I guess, in some situations. That's how he gets the double kill on Paradox, and I think he killed Rory as well in that double kill. And on top of that,
he killed
Argus.
He killed 4. He killed Paradox, Rory, Chef Baba,
quad.
and then no big deal. Just great play.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not going to capitalize on it as much as they should have.
But it saves the
game. Go to that primal instead of that EFG, and the members of Baba's Kitchen are going to be able to respawn.
So what this does do is that it makes me wrong, because I said it's going to be one more fight, and then the game's over. Well, there was that fight. It's not over yet. We still have Fire Giant up, and there's still Titans alive.
You got to add the parentheses. Clean fight, you know. You got to have more than one member left at the stand-in, you know. 9 people die in a fight. That's not really a one fight.
Oh, wow. Death Dealers are actually taking the aggressive position here. They're pulling the Fire Giant in front of 5. No, they're not, because Osiris isn't left.
Yeah, again, during all of that huge fight, that left bird goes down yet again. Retatosker in the air through the Cosmos. Baba's Kitchen going to be able to steal that with Chef Baba. Unfortunately, CG Paradox going to grab the first kill, taking Ginkgo PC off. Unfortunately, Lone Wolf in too much trouble. Doesn't have the magic defense required to withstand the onslaught. Darth Dumbledore going to fall. And unfortunately, it looks like Baba's Kitchen is in a good spot yet again. Titan a little bit low on the side of Baba's Kitchen if Death Dealers are able to withstand this onslaught. But 2 against 5, it's going to be an incredible struggle for them to keep on in.
Ral's going to have to put his carry pants back on if he didn't take them off already for this one as they walk in. Birds already down. Hera now beads and Aegising just to get away from the slow. It's down to 75%.
Yeah, 25%. Still burning. Not able to get them off. Ral picks up another kill for himself. Ending off 8 and 6 on just an incredible performance. Not able to bring it home though. Baba's Kitchen is your game 1 winner.
And an incredible game 1. This is a great way to start off the season. Both these teams had something to look forward to in the game 2. The play from Baba's Kitchen, great early game. Some hiccups in their late game team fights, but they turned it around and they didn't despair, which is a great sign. The mental is strong with this team right now. Just the same though, at the very least, the mental is strong for Ral, getting that quadra kill and letting the game last at least a couple more minutes. I'm excited to see what these two teams bring in the next game, because if that's the game 1, I can only imagine what game 2 and possibly even game 3 could look like.
Yeah, definitely a very strong game 1. What are you looking at for game number 2 in those picks and bans? Are you still thinking the Chernobog? Are we looking at the Hera now? Are we saying Hera? I don't know.
I don't think the Hera is going to go. I think that would still be a throwaway ban, but I can definitely say this Chernobog is going to have to go. Meanwhile, if we're looking at what Death Dealers need to do, it's just gonna come down to play. They've got to clean up this early game. If they keep doing, if it goes back to another early and mid game struggle for them, it's gonna be a tough one. And I would say this is a 2-0 if the early and mid do not look good for them again.
Yeah, definitely a lot of things that they can improve on for this game number 2. We will be back in just a few minutes as we wait for game 2 to start. And welcome back, everybody. We have game 2 here. Baba's Kitchen versus Death Dealers. Going to get right on into this as we start to see a couple of these bands coming out. Hera going to be the first one as we see Hachiman coming out on the other side.
Hmm.
Kind of had a feeling about the Hera, you know? Ral just had such a great performance towards the end of that last game.
I said it wouldn't be a great ban, but I mean, the guy got a quad. You kind of got to throw some respect the dude's way, and you know, I can understand the Kernabog coming through though was completely expected.
Yeah, I mean they both had good performances. You know, Frank gets that Phoenix twice. The minions get it another time. Ral gets a quad. Just a lot that you say that can't happen again. Other side though, we see, you know, the Hachi getting banned out. Not gonna let Paradox have, you know, the pick that he went. What was he like? 8-1, 8-2, something like that. I know it was a strong one.
Great. All it was a great performance for sure. That's the best way to word that. And the Wukong got left open this time, and it comes through.
Yep.
I got. There's not much really to say about this god except for safety in lane, and I mean Baba put up a good performance on the Osiris. So giving him an even safer pick that does the kind of damage that Wukong can put out, I think is a great option for Baba's Kitchen and for Chef Baba. Uh, Taking the opportunity there as well, just saying, hey, they didn't ban that this time around. Let's go ahead and grab that for ourselves and just guarantee ourselves a good lane in that side of the map.
Yeah, definitely one of those picks that we've seen Chef Baba on in previous seasons, something he's looked strong on. Do have the Izanami coming in, and unfortunately, Charon is picked, and we just unfortunately don't have him on that. Let's just throw Chiron in there for now. You know, just the name's close enough, just as a
Okay.
placeholder.
Yeah.
There we go. Chiron, same thing.
So now we're kind of seeing a little bit of a flipped script here as well with this dual lane setup that Death Dealers had earlier. It was Baba's Kitchen that had the lane pressure. Great, only it was different type of lane pressure, constantly putting pressure on the gods. This time it's lane pressure on the minions because you have an Izanami and a Charon, two characters phenomenal at clearing waves. So now Baba's Kitchen are probably going to have to look towards a little bit of a late game style on their side this time around.
Yeah, definitely going to be tough to out clear an Izanami Charon. Either going
Mm.
to have to pick something that's going to be able to kind of match that pressure or just, you know, like you said, play safe, scale up. And Ishtar's a good start to that. Going to have,
Hmm.
you know, relative clear to the Izanami with those drop autos, being able to clear very quickly. So not
Oh.
too upset with that. And Thanatos is going to be their last pick for this first phase. Just waiting on one more pick before we get into those bands.
I
How do
do
you feel
like
about that draft already?
I like the Ishtar response for Paradox, especially since it has a lot of similarities to the kit that Hachiman has. You got those long range autos. You also get the lob autos that hit multiple minions on the wave. Um, doesn't have the same attack speed stem that Hachi has, but still can pump out that damage and comes with a much stronger ultimate on the team fight side. Not as safe, but stronger in its own respect. And so I'm liking the draft from Baba's Kitchen right now, simply because that damage output that they've got really kind of solidifies their team fight. They've got better objective shred too, in my opinion, and way better zone ability with the Thanatos Wukong combination. But just like I said, looking at Death Dealer's composition. There's just lane pressure in mid and dual lane right now. They're just bleeding lane pressure with the composition they've drafted so far. A great early game for these guys.
Yeah, definitely strong early game, and I kind of like the theme of their team so far. You know, last game they had that kind of aggressive comp, and again they have that. You know, Sun Wukong really easy to dive with, Thanatos really easy to dive with, even Ishtar. You know, you use that dash in to be able to set up that CC. I like what they're putting together there.
Mm-hmm.
Got the bands finally starting to lock in. Got the Kukulkan pick up, Merlin, Giannis. I like the Rat band. The Rat was
Mm-hmm.
really strong last game. Don't want
Well,
him to be able to match the presence of a Thanatos either.
and it's very interesting because it was Baba's Kitchen that was running that pick, and they're the ones that banned it away. So they're also putting a little bit of respect on Ginkgo, saying we don't know if he may play it and they may know it. Maybe they did a little research. I don't know. I'm not on that team, but it definitely says we don't know if you can play it or not. And we're not about to find out, and we know what this god is capable of in the right hands. We just saw what PV did with it, and he did a phenomenal job in setting up team fights. Great with his initiation, and throughout the mid and early, he was securing his farm and rotating around the map for his team, using that movement speed and that presence that they have. So yeah, I love the ban phase, in particular for Baba's Kitchen. They did a really solid job with these bans.
Yeah, definitely. Liking, what we see so far. We do see the Achilles pick up before that Khepri gets locked in.
Mm-hmm.
Little tough, locking the Khepri in after that, kind of what they were going for. You have the Thanatos already. Ao Kuang was banned in the first phase, but just gonna have to contend with the one execute. Not the end of the world. I do love the Zeus Khepri combo too.
Mm-hmm.
Zeus just puts out a ton of damage. He gets dove on. Oh no, I rezzed him anyways.
I
Overall,
think
which of these teams are you favoring?
at the moment, I think I'm favoring Baba's Kitchen. I think Baba's Kitchen has actually drafted a comp that does what they want it to do. Does what they want to do last game. They wanted to do a lot more team fighting, but their composition was a bit too pick heavy. So now they've changed that dynamic by just giving themselves a comp that does exactly what they were going for.
Yeah, definitely a lot more team fight potential, with that Ishtar ultimate, with with the Zeus ultimate gives them a lot more to play with in those team fights. Excited to see how this plays out. We will be back in just a minute or two as we get on in to game number 2. All right, welcome back, everybody. Getting on into this game number 2. I am Ruler of Men, joined by Freaky G. How are we feeling about these builds?
So far, just it looks like just the standard builds that we've seen even in the last game. And both mids are sticking to what they did in the last one. We're going to see that Chronos Pendant start most likely from Ral once again, and it's going to be the book start for Not a Big Deal. Otherwise, Khepri did pick up a starter, in my opinion, that works way better for him than maybe any other god right now. Just because you need those prots to initiate your dives and obviously peel for your team. And Sentinel's Gift is a fantastic starter for that particular style of play.
Yeah, definitely a strong starter for him. Gonna be able to share those props with the team, or maybe even go for one of my little guilty pleasures in the Sentinel's Boon, getting a ton of healing to be able to kind of step up more than you might think a Khepri should. You
Yeah,
know, able to get that health off of minion assists.
those health resets are pretty nice whenever your team's able to gas pedal. And Baba's Kitchen does have a comp that can gas pedal. I was saying it in P's and B's that they have a really good comp for their play style this time, whereas last game it was a little bit off the mark from what they wanted. So the adjustments have been made, and I'm excited to see what they bring with this adjustment. They played really well, and so did Death Dealers. They had a lot. Both teams had a lot of great moments for themselves, and I think the adjustments that have been made in both the pick and ban phase for them really speak to how these guys want to play.
Yeah, definitely. Already off to a good start. Death Dealers getting themselves just a little bit of a gold lead off of, neutral farm. So already liking what we're seeing. Great pull comes out from the Khepri, gets a ton of damage off onto the Izanami and Charon. And, not quite what you would expect. You're expecting that Izanami to have a ton of clear. Eevee is here for a nice early gank. Will he be able to make something happen? Going to land the Scythe on the Charon. Not going to be able to get too much done after that. Great pull from Khepri, but it's just not going to amount to too much. Shell pops, going to be able to disengage, no problem there, and gets a little bit more pressure.
I'm liking this pick for Rory more than the Sobek because it does exactly what the Sobek does in a much safer way. Hold on. First Blood going to Ginkgo, getting active this time around before 5 minutes.
Yeah, Chef Baba and Lone Wolf both pretty low, but unfortunately, Ginkgo waiting in the rafters sees himself a free kill in the jungle, picks it up, and bing bang boom, Death Dealer's first on the board. Big turnaround from last game.
But like I was saying though, I mean this Khepri pick for Rory is much better in my opinion than the Sobek because it does exactly what he wanted to do on the Sobek. He gets that aggressive playability, so he can go in and pluck somebody, pull them in, possibly get a kill. But it does it in a much safer way, in my opinion. He has more abilities for lockdown as well, and there's way more peel potential on a Khepri than a Sobek, i.e. with the ultimate. That is a way better ult to peel for your team than Sobek's lurking in the waters.
Yeah, definitely offers a lot more safety for his backliners, and that was something they were struggling with a little bit, They'd step up a little bit too far, lose too much health, and all of a sudden, they're able to kind of commit. So having that res certainly kind of stops you from wanting that. I drop my ult on this guy, I drop all my abilities, and then he comes back to life and kills me. Not a huge fan.
Yeah, especially in a composition with the Zeus. In mind, Zeus is a god that's going to get dove. That's just the life of a Zeus. You're only going to stay alive through the help of your teammates. And Khepri is a good god to put in that role when you have this kind of character doing your damage. It's just hard to stay alive with the pick. And you don't have to worry about staying alive when someone's just going to bring you back from the dead.
Yeah, it definitely brings a lot more safety to that late Zeus pickup. Still gonna have to worry about that Achilles execute, but if Achilles can't get to you, gonna be scot-free being able to get out of those tough situations.
I gotta say, I kind of glossed over it, and now that I'm seeing it, I gotta point it out. The Bumbas pickup on Thanatos is kind of odd to me, just because with how that pick translates pressure.
Ooh, good execute comes out. Doesn't obviously get the execute. However, Pele is here. Beads are forced off of the Zeus. Will it be enough? The speed boost is going to be able to take him there. Could even look to turn on this Thanatos. Scythe going to dissuade that. 1 for 1, both mid laners fall to the junglers, and Ginkgo has a decent lead right now. Has
I
2
got
kills to 1.
I gotta say, I'm liking the Pele pick for Ginkgo a lot more than I'm liking the Hunbots. He's getting active. He's getting these secures. This is a much better look. He looked great on the Hunbots. The ults were landing in these team fights, causing a lot of disarray for Baba's Kitchen. But this one speaks to me in a different way, in a good way for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's a different style of pick, you know. You're
Mm-hmm.
able to just kind of all in rather than, you know, you have the long ult cooldown on Hun bots. You don't have CC outside of it. It's tough to say, oh yeah, I can take this 1v1. So definitely liking the change up, being able to kind of take the fights he wants to.
But what I was saying earlier though was the Bumba's pickup on Thanatos just seems a little odd to me because he has his own sustaining kit, and it would almost seem like a bit of a waste. The transformations for Bumbas are great. Don't get me wrong; they're both options. One gives some pin and a lot of power. I think it's like 70 for spear. Ultimate's going to come out from Charon to ensure his escape as well as Cuckoo's. But
Yeah, not
I
taking
think
risks
Bumba's,
there.
yeah, I think Bumba's is it's a good option no matter what. It's just on Thanatos, I feel like you could get away with maybe a bit on what other characters I would consider riskier options. So I don't want to say too safe. I feel like there's no such thing really as too safe. But I just would have liked to have seen something riskier, I guess is what I'm getting at.
I think that's a tough one, you know. A lot of the times you would have seen maybe the mannequins on there to go for the hidden blade late game, and
Mm-hmm.
that got a little bit better right now. You would see a lot of Eye of the Jungle, but with the nerfs recently, it's just a hard one to slot in. Pele forced to use beads and ult, unfortunately going to fall to the execute. Vanna going to knock that one down with the hovering death. Looking for a little bit more. Shell forced off of Charon, not going to be able to find the rest of
Oh,
that
look at that.
kill.
Achilles made his rotation into mid already too. Zeus is in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, a little bit more than some trouble. Going to fall down to Lone Wolf. Good, you know, counter initiation. Oh, everybody's chasing us. Ooh, that means Zeus is free in the back. Going to pick that one up.
Whoa!
Rel with a great Spirit of the Nine Winds going to pick that up. And Rory with a great placement of the Solar Flare on top of the Ishtar ult. Going to get himself on the board. And that's what I like to see. Supports with kills.
Uh, especially on Capri. That's a feels good one. A lot of trading in the fight too, and that is one of the most unfortunate blinks of your life when you blink into insert artillery ability here. That is tough. You gotta hate that, but it was still. It still comes back around full circle for Baba's Kitchen. I don't even think any team really got a lead. The rotation from Lone though was a really a good rotation. You don't really see these solo laners rotate out of lane that early so often unless it's with the teleporter that's right there in their lane. But it kind of saved the lane for death dealers there.
Yeah, certainly a great rotation from him, being able to kind of turn that into a more even trade, picking up a little bit on the back.
And he
Definitely
didn't fall
like that.
behind.
Yeah, no, he was able to get the kill. He gets an assist or two, and it put him in a great spot to keep going.
Looks like everything's gonna quiet down here now.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Bumbas. I think
Yeah,
Bumbas is just the strongest jungle starter right now. If you're
that's fair.
building a jungle starter, it's just so strong right now. You know, Mannequins gets changed a little bit. It doesn't have that physical prot, so it's not as helpful in the early game. You know,
Yeah,
Eye of the
yeah.
Jungle loses some stats. It just feels really good right now. But I've even been seeing a little bit of experimenting beyond that. I've been seeing back to Bluestone in the jungle. I've seen some gilded on like Arachne, so I think that there's a lot of options that you can go for that are
It's still
even less
very early.
conventional.
It's still very early in the split too. I mean, we're gonna see a lot of experimentation, and Thanatos is like Thanatos is always gonna be one of those gods that's able to take the experimental route. Speaking of routes, looks like he's trying to make a route into the duo lane. Pele's here as well.
Yeah, Thanatos definitely one of those ones that you can get a little creative on. Obviously, has good mana sustain, has good health sustain with his kills. Ooh,
Oh,
Ishtar in a really tough spot. Going to use the dash a little bit early. No idea that the jungler is behind. Ginkgo picks up his 3rd kill of this game, and that's going to solidify Frank's lead. He was already sitting at about, well, maybe a third of a level, and that should put him over to maybe a level and a half. So good gank coming out from Ginkgo saying, you're an Izanami, you're able to get pressure, let's make sure we're able to use it.
and honestly, I gotta say the ultimate there, while seeming unnecessary, we'll get back to that. Beads gets burned, and ultimate comes out from Zeus for damage.
Yeah, Kukuult comes out, not able to hit the Zeus, going to fall instead to the Fields of Lightning. Zeus going to knock that one down. Just unfortunate, you get caught on the wrong side of the map. You're on the wrong side of the fight. Cuckoo's trying to run towards the enemy tower to get away from people and just not able to make it. Zeus just has too many slows. He has, the thunderclap at the end anyways. He detonates those charges, so it's just so tough to do anything there.
Looks like PV making a run for it. Ooh. Oh, the ultimate from Pele
Good
too.
ult comes out, yeah. That was just great recognition. There's nothing Thana can do if he turns around there. He just isn't able to get that ground, and just a great, pick from the awareness of Ginkgo.
Yeah, and it's just Death Dealer still in the driver's seat here. I said this composition looks great just because of the early pressure. Beads comes out from
Spirit
Zeus.
of the 9 Winds going to land on not a big deal. However, Sun Wukong rotating over is going to secure them that Stygian beacon. There it is. We have like a curse on this channel or something. Every time we call a beacon, it tends to just go the other way. So glad I didn't jinx that one. Papa's Kitchen taking their consolation prize. Now we might be a little bit behind, but we got a bunch of damage on your towers because we got the beacon.
Yeah, I think the change to beacon is very interesting. It's far more useful at all stages of the game now. I can say that for sure. I personally like the new change. What do you think about it?
I really like it. I think that I just wasn't a big fan of the Titans marching.
Really?
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I think it made the game play out too long. There were a lot of times where, you take a fight, but oh no, somebody did the beacon 45 seconds ago, so we won the fight and their Titan's not at the base, so we can't do anything, and you lose one fight on the Titans and you lose the game. So I think it's a little bit healthier for the game. Khepri in a ton of trouble here. Pele going to ult in. Khepri going to save himself with the ultimate for now. Will he be able to get out? Great peel comes out. A bunch of ults dropped onto this Pele. Beads are forced. Shell is used. Thanatos incredibly low. Does he die to the whirlwind? He does. Khepri still incredibly low, but he should be safe under that tower. Not a big deal, putting out so much damage. Ult is used. That should be a dead Pele. No! Dumbledore doing a great job staying in that tower, making sure those tower shots don't come out. Saves not only his jungler, but his mid laner from those tower shots, and that is really unfortunate for Death Dealers. Not Death Dealers, sorry, Baba's Kitchen. They were on the other sides last game. Baba's Kitchen unable to get any of those low health bars, and they, lose a little bit of farm on that left side as well. Pushing some minions under the tower is Frank.
Snagged up a good opportunity there, and Frank just pushes down the left lane. Ishtar makes that rotation again, and just kind of hands over the lane to Frank. So, and with a team fight that just kind of fizzles out with fantastic support play from Darth, Dumbledore keeping his jungle and mid alive just simply by tanking the tower. A great job from Death Dealers, and it's still Ginkgo with his foot on the gas. And that's a scary proposition. A Pele with a 3-level lead in the jungle. I mean, he's got 3 people around him, and he's just kind of playing like he's untouchable.
He's unfortunately caught out. Not going to be able to get what he wants out. Knockup comes out. Spirit of the 9 Winds hits 2, but it is not going to be enough. Unfortunately, plays a little bit too far forward, flies a little too close to the sun, and Baba's Kitchen capitalizes. and they're going to go straight into this Gold Fury. They know that Spirit of the Nine Winds is down, already ripped through the team. Are they going to be able to secure it? No, they're not. They're going to drop it. Death Dealers are going to pick it back up. Death Dealers
Wow.
secure it, and Baba's Kitchen are in a tough spot. Sun Wukong has rotated over. Izanami is taking some damage. However, a lot of the things coming out.
All the
Dark Portal into the execute. Gotta love that. You're silenced and then you're executed. It's a tough one to deal with. Death Dealers in a commanding lead. Already 3,000 gold up at this 15-16 minute mark.
the fact that they had the gall there to just step up to that Gold Fury and say, "No, we're just going to go ahead and take this now," is impressive. That is some top tier gameplay from Death Dealers right there to just say, "Yeah, we'll take the 50-50 either way. We've got a Karen ult, and we've got our ADC over here as well. Our solo laner's on the way." And props to Lone Wolf for recognizing that the ultimate from Rory got used. Goes ahead and just takes Baba down with the ultimate so they can confirm a kill very easily and also pick up the second objective of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even matter if Rory has the ult or not. You get executed straight through the revive. Ooh, unfortunately, Rel in a tough spot here. Darth Dumbledore, the one going to fall though, lands next to a Pele. Don't know if that's his wisest decision. However, Khepri is here to back him up, get him out of danger. Pele ult used, but not able to get quite as much as he might like. Going to pick up Peavy. Will he be able to get out? It looks like he's able to escape the CC. Achilles is here for the Zeus. Great body block from Rory, going to save his Zeus, but it is just momentary. Lone Wolf going to continue pushing into that fight. 2 for 1. Death Dealers again taking the better part of that. However, Baba's Kitchen on the other side, we saw, Paradox a level and a half down, and, CG Paradox says, "Oh, Frank rotated? That's cool. I'm going to take your tower. I'm going to take some farm. I have a lead now."
Even with that, I have to say that every team fight that goes by just impresses me more, and Death Dealers impress me more and more. Hopefully they were able to get this tower before Achilles goes down. They will. Great job from Rory there to keep him occupied. Almost got the kill there, but Achilles just a little bit tankier than Baba's Kitchen is probably ready for.
The wave does a lot in making sure Baba's Kitchen can't step up to try to defend the Stygian Beacon. Thanatos lands into 4. Dark Portal is used. Pele ultimate also used. Ishtar in a really tough spot here. Pele is on the chase. Beads, Aegis are forced off this Ishtar. Not able to land the last hit though. Just barely gets out with his life. That had to have been single-digit HP. And Baba's Kitchen get they get the beacon, but it just doesn't matter. Death Dealers are winning these fights handily.
Paradox probably got to experience something we call the pucker factor there, and it's not a fun feeling, but I'm certainly happy to walk out with his life. And it just like I said, every team fight that goes by in this game, I am just getting more and more impressed with Death Dealers. They drafted an early composition, they played an early style, and they are walking the map down with this early lead. This is not something you see even most high tier teams do, and Death Dealers just seem like they're comfortable with it. It's impressive.
Yeah, definitely. Able to pick up a kind of completely different style of Smite from that game 1. They had a little bit more counter engage game 1. Right now they're in the driver's seat and they look comfortable there. They're looking for these objectives. I see them pinging that Gold Fury saying, "All right, next order of business, knock down this Primal Fury, keep extending this lead," and that's what I need to see. Just keep pushing this lead from early into that mid game, into that late game. What does Baba's Kitchen need to focus on to get back in this?
And same thing that we were talking about last game with Death Dealers. They got to focus on this individual farm. You see them spreading out on the map. They know this Primal Fury is a long shot, if anything, if they're going to try and get the objective. So they're not even going to bother going for it. You see the support in mid, not a big deal in Rory, pushing that mid wave up, going to try and get the tier 1 tower with the minions. They may be able to get it. Nope, just barely. But it's still an option. They still can go for that. It's not going to be hard. Thanatos over here stealing these camps. This is kind of how you bring the game back, is you just secure this farm, and you're not picking these big fights. You're just kind of waiting to see if you can get a pick. And the best thing that I can see for Baba's Kitchen for sure is that they have the composition to get a pick. They can find the guy that's just a little too far up, or the guy that's separated from his team on the other side of the map, and lock him down. A matter of if they will, it remains to be seen.
Yeah, definitely not the easiest for them to play into right now, but they're showing great signs. You know, they said, "Oh, okay, well, there's a Cuckoo on the other team, so it's not even worth our time trying to contest a Gold Fury. He just presses 4, we lose that, and then we still have to struggle in the fight after." So instead, they start stripping out that farm on the other side of the map. They say, "Okay, you're in left doing gold. I'm gonna be in right getting farm." Bede's forced off Pele there, off of a great abduction coming out of Rory. Again, just playing really well. He has a little bit of backup, just enough to make Ginkgo a little bit nervous. So good play there.
This Lone Wolf is just up in it, and Pele as well. I mean, with no beads, that's a very precarious position to be in. Death Dealers will get that confirmed.
Yep. Spirit of the Nine Winds just does so much for them to be able to secure that. Khepri loses a ton of health, unfortunately, walking through that whirlwind, getting hit by the Zephyr. And, you know, not going to be able to get any picks quite yet. Achilles really low. Thanatos does have the ult up, a little bit more damage, and it might be his time. However, it looks like the rest of his team understands they're not going to let him fall into that execute range.
Yeah.
So just good play from them, you know, saying there's a Thana. If he gets any lower, if we let them keep chasing him, he's going to get picked.
But on the other hand, that was a great disengage from Death Dealers as well, realizing the fight after was not what they were looking for, and just kind of start slowly stepping back, throwing out some abilities to zone off, and keeping the Baba's Kitchen from being able to make any sort of advancement without trading even possibly their lives. The lead is still in Death Dealer's hands, and Baba's Kitchen realized that too, so they have to respect the abilities being thrown out. I mean, you even pointed out Rory is just getting torn apart by these Kukulkan whirlwinds. If Izanami lands autos on top of that, he's going to melt. He just doesn't have the...
Yeah, definitely tough to be a support in this meta. You know, you have the crit ADCs, and you have to build physical defense to not get shredded by them. But if you focus too much on that, then you don't have any magical defense. We see Chef Baba. He's looking for, you know, maybe an Arch Druids, maybe a binding, and then he says, "Ow, ow! Izanami hit me twice. I have to build a Spectral." You see it. He gets the tier 1. He's like, "Oh no, never mind, never mind."
Yeah, really, real quick to change his mind on his build path there. But that's that thing you have to start learning as you play this game more, is adaptation. And it's not something you see people do often, just because changing your build. So, oh my goodness.
Great pick onto Lone Wolf there. Gets hit by the abduction, and immediately they just dump damage into him. PV, not a big deal. Just absolutely decimate his health bar, and it is a 4v5 going into this possible FG pull. Still a lot of members around. Spirit of the Nine Winds is up, so this is a tough one to take. Sun Wukong ult is going to be forced there, looking to buy his team a little bit of distance. Kukulkan getting looked at in the back, not going to be able to run up to this for free. Will the Nine Winds get off? It does, but it is not in time. Baba's Kitchen are able to secure the Fire Giant. Not a big deal. Takes down Ginkgo, and this is not looking good for Death Dealers. 3 down, 4 down. This is what Baba's Kitchen needed. They waited patiently. They found their original pick on Lone Wolf, and all of a sudden they have the FG. They're pushing down these towers. The gold's even. They're about to start building their lead. Just a great fight out of them. They played that really well.
And now it's only the Achilles here to defend. He's likely going to fall again. And
Rory, just incredible play. He's just hitting abduct after abduct, and the rest of his team is following up on it, you know? Lone Wolf unfortunately doesn't have beads. He can't do anything about it. If he gets hit by that abduction and there's damage to follow up, he's just dead.
I pointed out at the beginning of the game that this Khepri, I think, is better for him than the Sobek was, because it does exactly what the Sobek would do in a much safer way. And it's way easier to hit a Khepri pluck than a Sobek pluck. This is it's great for them because they struggled so hard in the early, but they didn't lose out on hope, lose out on their mental stayed strong. There's so many ways you can put it, and they found that pick. Like I was saying, you asked me how do they come back to this? They got to find a good pick. They found a good pick. They got the Soul Laner out. That's like your ultimate defensive option on these objectives. He's no longer an option. Now you can't even step up to the objective without, potential to die, even if you secure. And not only did they not secure, they lost the fight after. So Baba's Kitchen recognized a very good moment for them, and I mean they grabbed the bull by the horns, analogy, if you will.
Yeah, no, definitely. They seized the moment. They found their opportunity. Charon looking for the summon sticks, but not going to be able to get that steal on the Pyromancer. Oni wave starting to push down on those side waves. Fortunately, not going to be able to get too much done with that mid Oni fire wave, as there are a couple members to deal with it, but that's not their goal. Their goal is to say, okay, we're going to knock down the Pyro. We're going to go over here. We're going to knock down this tier 2. Maybe we look for this Phoenix. They're looking to just build this lead. I'm curious as what this gold chart looks like.
Yeah.
I want to say they were down
gotta be wild.
2,000-3,000, and then all of a sudden it just spikes right up.
Bomb's
nice
gonna go off.
Coming out, putting a lot of damage onto not only the team but the
Ooh.
tower. Tower falls. Spirit of the Nine Winds unfortunately off the mark. Sun Wukong surging forward. Pele in a tough spot. An amazing Ishtar ult. Pele able to get out with the ultimate. Charon not going to be so lucky. Falls down to not a big deal. Wukong is in. Thanatos is in the air. Not able to find the execute he wants. Rory picks up his second kill of the game. Not a big deal. Falls on the back, but that Phoenix isn't looking too good.
These tanks got to get back in there.
Yeah, that is going to go ahead and fall.
Achilles
not able to get in there in time. Ooh, Lone Wolf bites off a little bit more than he is able to chew. Unfortunately gets collapsed on. All of a sudden he's, goes from fighting Paradox at low health to, why are there 4 people here? That's just the story of Lone Wolf right now. He's just struggled to find the correct initiation on these. He gets a little bit too far forward, and then all of a sudden, oh god, Baba's Kitchen just reacts, and they're doing so well with that. They see the smallest misstep, and they're capitalizing on it immediately.
Yeah, and like I said, the mental game from Baba's Kitchen is insane, because to play at a deficit like they did all throughout the early and mid, and to just come back as if nothing happened, got one good pick and realized, hey, we can hit the go button now. That's really, really tough to do at any stage of the game. The mental game does not change no matter what level you play at. So when you can overcome those challenges in the mental game at this stage at this level of play, I personally think you are a better player than you realize.
Yeah, definitely. There's always learning to do it at any level, but if you have that mentality to stay in and just look for your opportunity, you're able to just continue to improve, look to better yourself. So definitely love what we're seeing. What do you think Death Dealers need to try to do to keep themselves in this game and possibly look for a game 3?
To start off, we got to get this mid Phoenix healthy. The beacon kind of slows that process down. This mid Phoenix has got to come back up. The light at the end of the tunnel right now for Death Dealers is that the only Phoenix they haven't lost yet is their left Phoenix, and that's usually the most important Phoenix in the game. It's the furthest from Fire Giant. It's the one that has the most distance from objectives. It's the hardest to recover. So there is that going for them. So as long as they let this mid Phoenix heal back up, pay attention to the waves in mid lane, and at least keep this Fire Giant warded, so when it does get pulled, they can make an executive decision to try to steal or just let it go. Baba's Kitchen are going to make the decision here to let it become an EFG, it looks like. It's 2950, so it'll transition while they're taking it down. So this is an important Fire Giant, but they've got to keep these Phoenixes up in order to do this.
Yeah, very important Fire Giant, and the Death Dealers know it. Kukulkan, however, getting spotted out by the Sun Wukong, already looking to get in there, forced to Spirit of the Nine Winds way too early. Good pressure coming out from Chef Baba there. Looks like it's going to be a toss-up. 2 kills down. Baba's Kitchen are
And they got it.
unfortunately floundering. However, they immediately return 2 kills. Lone Wolf again in just a tough position in the backline, diving by himself. Good abduct on the mark. Thanatos going to be able to knock him down a little bit. Scythe off the mark, going to get him a little bit further. Good stun. Will it be enough? No, the great solar flare from Khepri still delaying him. And Achilles is unfortunately going to die. That is not what you want to see. However, Death
Oh,
Dealers were
no.
able to get the enhanced fire giant, but it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, Frank just steps up a little bit too far. You know, they try to peel away for Lone Wolf, and they're just not able to get what they want done. They get the EFG, but they lose 4 members, and this mid Phoenix might not be long for this world.
And I was gonna say, you know, Death Dealers made a really good play. They may have lost a couple members, and Lone Wolf had to sacrifice his own life just to ensure that his backliners made it out. And Baba's Kitchen just turned it around once again. And now that mid Phoenix is down, you got that right Phoenix coming back up, but
That
it
right
may be
Phoenix
too
was
late.
down. That
It's going back
that
down.
wave came in at a perfect time. That was
That
so
is-
unlucky. They
Oh,
were
that's
about to
so
walk right
unfortunate.
past it.
Oh, that is a feels bad moment, and now Death Dealers kind of just go back to a net zero. They didn't gain anything, but they didn't lose anything either. They kind of extend the game for themselves. That is something to look forward to. You were able to steal that EFG. Baba's Kitchen can't just press forward. They had too many dead members when they had an opportunity to go for the end. So the end call wasn't realistic. And that buys you time at the very least. So now you're back at this 5v5 scenario. It's not a safe situation for Baba's Kitchen to end. But you do have these other objectives on the map that they are going to get. It's going to set them up. They got the Primal Fury. That's more damage to objectives. They got the bomb. So that's another opportunity to maybe get a Phoenix if they're feeling lucky. That's the way I would put it. You still don't want to do that because you don't have Fire Giant, EFG, or not. So Death Dealers at least have that to look forward to. We have extended the game for ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. And extending the game is what they need right now. You know, we're still looking at a couple unupgraded starters on that side, not finishing out those builds yet. So any time that they're still in the game is time that they're continuing to scale. They're continuing to get those items online. And that's what they need, you know. The end of the day, you hit that 40-minute mark, and it doesn't matter who is ahead the entire game. The respawn timers are long, the builds are even. You might have a 500, maybe even a 3k pot if you're lucky up at that point, but it's so tough to be able to say, oh no, we got this.
Oh, a little bit of lurking around on the left side of the map, Baba's Kitchen. But they're going to let the trespassers go. And it looks like they're lining up for this left side Phoenix. They have a bomb in pocket, so this is a reasonable play. Karen still has the EFG around his waist, but no one else does. Blinken from Sun Wukong starts the engagement.
Going to have to be a little bit careful here. Summon Sticks comes through, gets 2. Thanatos incredibly low. Spirit of the Nine Winds not going to find too many targets. Pele gets a ton of damage off in the backline. Unfortunately not able to quite find the Zeus's timeline or PV. Still incredibly low health bars. Unfortunately, timeline does not matter if you get executed. Not a big deal, falls down there. Titan getting some minions on it, but right now that's not too important. A lot of health coming out. Unfortunately, Ral not able to get anybody quite into range for Lone Wolf to be able to continue chaining those executes. Going to have to back off, but they defend their Phoenix and they are still in this game.
I pointed out that the bomb is a great tool for taking objectives, but without Fire Giant, it's still a risky call. And it looks like Baba's Kitchen learned the hard way there, only losing their mid laner, but the engagement seemed somewhat botched from the beginning, and Death Dealers are doing such a great job of defending their base. Buying time turned into, hey, we have an opportunity to set up here, and I think that's what they're going to go for. They've got the mid waves pushed up, left wave not pushed up as far as you'd probably like it to be, and you've still got fire waves to contend with and right, but they are in a position to get to this FG and potentially turn this game back around in their favor.
Yeah, you know, those Phoenixes are pretty close to coming back up. They're you know, within range of the EFG. You know, they're not right around the corner, but you know, they're close enough to be able to. "Oh, yeah, I'll go knock down this fire wave, and then I can walk back to the fire giant." So certainly have a little bit of a safety net here. Burning quite fast though. Those Ishtar
Oh, it's
spread autos
probably
do
gone.
so much. Kukulkan unfortunately backs at an unopportune time. This this is unfortunately burning way too fast, and Baba's Kitchen able to take that pretty much uncontested. Lone Wolf looking for a steal, but not able to find it. Looks like he might find something he wasn't looking for in this Thanatos ult. Great combat dodge to get away from that Thanatos ultimate. Going to dodge that execute. Unfortunately, going to get Ishtar ulted on the back of it and lose his life. Come on,
So
where is it? Where
low.
is it? There it is. Chef Baba able to pick that one up, but at the cost of 2 ultimates. You know, you don't have that Thanatos ult, you don't have that Ishtar ult. Low health bird unfortunately goes down, but still some health bars on the death dealers. This
Look at
is
the end.
certainly not game. Pele looking to get in there, got a lot of damage off onto the Ishtar, not able to find what he wants though. Spirit of the Nine Winds only hits the frontliners, not going to be able to knock down any of those squishy targets. And Death Dealers are, not Death Dealers, Baba's Kitchen are starting to whittle down this Titan, getting down to about 2/3 already. Forced to back out though, you know. They still have that Kukulkan, they still have that Izanami. It's not the easiest end call to make. You know, a couple missteps, you walk into a whirlwind and it could
Oh,
be trouble. Look at that. Khepri walks into a whirlwind and is forced to use that ultimate to keep himself alive. Mid bird goes down yet again. Baba's Kitchen are in a pretty decent spot to be able to end this, but Kukulkan is still just putting out so much damage. Stepping in and out of the Titan here is giving it a little bit more health. Sun Wukong could be in a little bit of danger here. 1cc could do it. This whirlwind not quite able to take him down, but Lone Wolf's able to pick it up on the back end. Summon Sticks ripped through this mid lane, looking for a little bit of something. Thanatos knocked back. That could be a disaster. The speed boost is able to get him away from the stun, able to get up in the into the ultimate just fast enough, hovering deaths his way out of there. And this is unfortunate. You unfortunately lose the Oni Fury. They're able to go ahead and pick that up with this incredible shred from Ishtar, and that's going to be 2 Oni Fire Waves.
great macro call on the side of Baba's Kitchen, and they still managed to get 2 Phoenixes. The only person I think that goes down in that fight, yeah, the only person to go down is Chef Baba. You lose your solo laner, but I mean, I would trade my solo laner. I mean, I'm the solo laner for my team. I would trade my life every day for 2 Phoenixes and a Gold Fury. That is a great place to be as a solo laner, in my opinion. So I don't think Baba is upset at all about the conditions for his death. But just the same, death dealers are still hanging on, no matter how small that threat is, are still hanging on. The backliners are doing a phenomenal job at defense. Um, when Lone Wolf is with his team, he's doing great at just setting up for his backliners and uh, getting his own kills and doing his own damage as well.
Yeah, definitely playing well. Unfortunately, you know, they've just been at this deficit ever since that first Fire Giant falls down to the way of, you know, Baba's Kitchen. I don't think it was the first, it might have been the second one, but as soon as it went their way, you know, we really see Baba's Kitchen able to kind of just keep on the gas pedal slowly but surely, and it's just tough to play right now. You know, you're at this deficit for 15-20 minutes. It wears down. Kukulkan gets hit by the abduct.
Oh
Looks like that
no!
might be his life. Execute lands on on the Aegis, but it does not matter. Going to be followed up immediately. Sun Wukong in the back. Khepri looking for a little bit more. Summon Sticks gets a ton of damage out, but that is 3 down. Both damage dealers dead. It is just the front line. Scratch that. It is Lone Wolf against 5, and it looks like Baba's Kitchen is going to be able to take this game. Titan burning slowly but surely, and that is game number 2. A
Yeah, finished.
strong 2-0 from Baba's Kitchen, you know.
Yep.
Looked a
Yeah,
little shaky at times, but they bring it home.
yeah, and I mean it's that's the end goal either way. You know, doesn't matter how bad the game went. If you got the Titan, you got the Titan. And Baba's Kitchen, shaky as the road may be, find their way into a 2-0, and there's a lot to take away from this for both teams. I think both teams may have discovered their main play route in this game, and there's a lot to be impressed with for both of these guys. I think Death Dealer's really strong in the early, just unfortunately we're not able to translate it into late. Baba's Kitchen showed strong mental fortitude in this game and held on until the late game where their comp shined and allowed them to take the win. Really got to throw props to Rory. He comes out of this game 2-0 and 21, was very involved with his team. Um, I mean, 72 assists in total, and he's making up at least a fifth of that, almost a fourth of that. So looking at the damage numbers and looking at the KDAs and everything that's here on the details screen, it really kind of tells you that these two teams don't need to walk away from this game thinking, uh, wow, we really didn't do well. They need to look at this game and go, wow, we really figured a lot out today.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you got to take these early weeks as lessons that you can push into the rest of the season. Definitely, you know, a lot of good plays from both teams, a lot of things to look at and say, "Oh, okay, yeah, we could change up a little bit of something." Love to see that. That is going to be it for our games tonight. Come back tomorrow at 8 o'clock. We're going to have the first Canes set of the season. No, we love the Canes, even though they get a little neglected, but we'll be seeing them tomorrow at 8 p.m. So come back tomorrow and, you know, keep watching.